Obama calls for free speech crackdown. He said, we don't want diversity of facts. The left keeps lefting, don't they? They can't help themselves. They keep exposing themselves as the censorists that they are. They want to censor everything. They want to censor your opinion and and want to censor so-called facts. They want to control the narrative. And that's why they hate Elon Musk so much, because what he did when he purchased Twitter was he allowed diversity of thought. And when you have that diversity of thought, we can call out their facts and their lies and their gaslighting. And they can't have that, because if if people really know what the Democrats are doing, they know the people will be against that. And this is why they show themselves on especially the issues where the majority of Americans agree. The Democrats have the opposite opinions on those things, and they want to hide them things from the American people so that they can try to control and manipulate. So they all want censorship. This is why all these pundits are calling for censorship. All of these politicians are calling for censorship because they don't want you to be able to call them out on their BS. But we're going to talk about it. We're going to show the clip from Obama. But before we get started, go ahead and hit that like button. Share this out so we can get this information out there. Subscribe if you're not already a subscriber, and hit that alarm bell so you know when I'm putting out new stuff. Also, check out my link tree in the description. It has a link to my Patreon, and that's where I talk about things that I can't talk about here, and you get more exclusive content over there. Also, follow me on X and Instagram. All right, so let's get into this news. Now, this comes from Slay News, and they report that in a revealing appearance at the Connecticut Forum, former President Barack Obama called for government regulation of social media platforms to police what he deems misinformation. The remarks are raising alarm bells for critics who see it as yet another move to stifle dissent and silence political opposition. During his speech titled An Evening with President Barack Obama, the former president lamented the erosion of public trust. However, instead of blaming failed leadership or political corruption, of course, Obama pinned it squarely on Americans' ability to share unfiltered opinions online. Obama, let's just get to the clip here. Here we go. Let's get to the clip.
But part of what we're going to have to do is to start experimenting with new forms of journalism and how do we use social media in ways that reaffirm facts, separate facts from opinion. We want diversity of opinion. We don't want diversity of fact. By the way,
is that government's job, though? Is that government's job to tell us what is true and what is not true, what are facts and what are not facts? I don't remember reading that anywhere in the Constitution on governmental duties. If that's what the government's supposed to do, supposed to tell American people what is true and what is false. I've never seen that anywhere in the Constitution.
It will require some government, I believe.
Here we go.
Some government regulatory constraints around some of these business models in a way that's consistent with the First Amendment.
Regulatory constraints that's consistent with the First Amendment. What? Where does it say in the First Amendment that the government is allowed to have any constraints on our freedom of speech? You know, regulatory constraints, he says, with a straight face. This is crazy, and the SEALs are clapping. The SEALs in the audience is clapping, not knowing what that really means. It means that the government can regulate what you say. How can you be okay? How could you be supporting this? The same people that call Trump authoritarian and all these other things are the same people that supporting government saying what is true and allowing you, telling you what is what you allowed to say online, what you allowed to believe is facts or not. This is what these same people. Oh my gosh, it's disgusting.
But that also says, look, there is a difference between these platforms letting all voices be heard versus a business model that elevates the most hateful voices or the most polarizing voices or the most dangerous in the sense of inciting violence voices. And that I think is going to be a big challenge for all of us that we're going to have to undertake.
Exciting violence, huh? But it's okay for the mainstream media to excite violence and tell you where you can go donate to help out during the so-called No Kings protests and riots. That's okay, though. That's okay. Like, these people are sick, man. Yet fact checkers and researchers are already poking holes in his claims. A 2024 Knight Foundation study titled From Trust to Disagreement undermines Obama's central thesis, concluding that misinformation receives lower trust rating than accurate information. In other words, people can tell the difference, but that's not what it is. It's government creating the narrative and wanting you to only listen and believe in their narrative. That's what this is about. But the real culprit, according to the study, is deep-rooted political polarization, not rogue Facebook posts. A more recent 2025 study titled Trust in Disinformation Narratives found that ideology, topic, and tone, not the truthfulness of content, had the greatest impact on public trust. The study also revealed that authorship had little effect, indicating that people don't blindly trust outlets just because of a name brand byline. Obama's renewed call to regulate speech online may have less to do with truth and more to do with controlling the narrative, like I've been saying. His remarks came amid growing concerns among Americans about big tech censorship, biased so-called fact checkers, and efforts by government agencies to suppress politically inconvenient stories, from COVID origins to Hunter Biden laptop. We all remember those stories. I've covered them extensively. So when Barack Obama says we don't want diversity of facts, many Americans are left asking, who gets to decide what counts as fact? According to him, the government regulators get to decide what is fact and what is not. But y'all let me know what y'all think about this. Leave y'all comments down below. Like, share, and subscribe, and check out jjthepsychotherapist.com for the latest in news. Until next time, peace.